What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Stock Market Plan Stock Market Watch for April 30th, the last day of the month. And what a month it has been. Wow. I mean, markets have really confirmed this uptrend. Nothing about this market shows that it wants to go lower. Again, as always, we're looking at the SPY spiders. Mirrors the movement of the S&P 500. What we use to gauge the overall market health. And we want this thing as a tailwind, and that's what it has been here for the last month. Let's get right into it. The market is still in this uptrend that we pointed out many days ago, weeks ago, right? And now trading handsomely over the 50-day, the blue line right here, 50-day moving average, a pivotal level that we pay close attention to. Whatever it is we're looking at, stock or commodity or index like we are now, it does really solidify the strength of that instrument. In this case, we're looking at the SPY, right? So we talked about it at length here. We also said when we were way down here that this average could come down and meet the price. Not only has it met the price has gone over it. As I zoom in here, you can see the price just steadily climbing and now getting into this resistance level. It's in the ceiling, right? Trying to break through this ceiling. We had this week earnings from major technology companies such as Tesla, Microsoft, and the market acted favorably. You'll hear me say a lot of times, it's not what's in the report, but how the market reacts to it. And the market has reacted pretty favorably to these companies that are reporting earnings for the first quarter of 2020. So we talked about this market coming back, and probably would do it in quick fashion, and sure has. So the uptrend is confirmed. Volume picked up a little bit. You can see it picking up a little bit, breaking this downward trend of volume. Now the volume is picking up a little bit, and what's really cool is that the price, although it was a down day today, it really didn't budge, did it? It stayed within that range, right in this area right here. I see that as a good sign. If you're long stock, if you're short stock, you're probably hurting right now. So today we're going to look at a stock that the stock is ENTG, Eddie, Nancy, Tom, George. All right. The name of the stock is Entegris. Entegris is in the electric semiconductor space, semiconductor equipment. Average volume for the stock is about 1.1 million shares a day. That's the shares that are traded per day. It's the 10-day average volume. This stock caught my attention because it is involved right now in what's called a cup and handle pattern. And if you can see this, when you take this here from this point down, it looks like a cup, right? And then a little handle right here. The cup and handle pattern, it's a very popular pattern. It is, I wouldn't say it's rare, but when it shows up, it's traders like it. Professional traders look for it. And from a technical standpoint, it's one of the most powerful patterns there is. One of the most powerful patterns there is in the stock market when it comes to technical analysis. This particular company here, the industry itself, the electric semiconductor equipment group, is a group that has been doing pretty well. Not only do we look at overall market health, but after that, there is a sub-level where you get sectors, then you get industry groups, then you get sub-industry groups. In this particular case, the industry group is the electric semiconductor equipment. It's a group that is doing well, and when I see that, I look at stocks within. Now this stock here, so when I look at this pattern, the cup and handle pattern, what happens is you can see this red line right here. This is a level where you can see the little handle right here, and it is said normally, typically, that when a stock closes above that level, all right, that it is meaningful, and it is probable, not a certainty, but probable. Remember, we always work with probability here, that the stock price trends higher from there. Now, I like this chart, and I'm going to show you the way that I would play this, but you have to decide for yourself. Again, we don't recommend stock. Again, we don't tell you when to buy and sell. You can go to other sites for that. But, what we do here is look at probability and look at certain setups, in which this is a great setup, I think. Is it bulletproof? No. When I look at these stocks, I treat them as an opportunity, a setup that, is favorable, yes, and it can go higher, but also it can come back down, right? It can come right back down below this level here. Now, in the last 2 days, it has closed below that. When I zoom in, you can see the pivot here, right? Closed above it yesterday, and today it came down and held. For me, that's usually a buy signal. These are the kind of things I'm just showing you what they would look like, the things that I look for. I would say that buying the stock here would not be a problem. Do we just buy and just leave it alone? Like, you know what? Do we just buy and close our eyes, or do we buy and have parameters set in place for the downside and parameters set in place for the upside? The targets that I see, I draw this trend line right here. Plus, I have the 50-day moving average, and I have the 200-day moving average as support. Depending on the scenario of the investor, one can use the pivot point across below here, a close now, not across, because the stock can trade through this level intraday. But if it closes above it, remember, my biggest thing is, let's see the way the stock closes. It's all about the close. You can trade over and under it. For instance, right here on April 28th, I was looking at the stock, and I already see the cup, right? The big cup with the handle. And I'm thinking to myself, I close above this, same thing, right? I'm thinking this could be a buy. But when we look at it intraday, let me do that. Here's that day, Tuesday, right? Here's the day, right? There's a trend line, right? There's a pivot. So we're trading over it, under it, over and under it, over. And at the very last 15 minutes, it traded under and closed under that bar. It's a no-go. It's a no-go. Well, the following day, the stock gaps up, right? Stock gaps up, stays up, and I'm still waiting. Finishes and closes above it, right? And if I would have missed this, because that would be a buy signal for me, closing above that pivot, right? Then I would look for a retracement, which we got today. Got a retracement, right? And look at this. Look at this volume bar here at the very end of the day. Big volume coming in, right? You can see the average volume for the day, and then boom, massive players coming into the stock, right? And it held. So again, if you missed it, here's another buy signal, right? So that's where the stock is right now. I just wanted to show you that. The way to play these pivot points, that being this red line here, of the cup and handle. Now, if I was to buy a setup like this, then we would have to worry about protection, right? Because we just don't buy and, set it and forget it. We've seen what that does. If you don't believe me, look at the end of February and all of the month of March, right? The trick here is to keep your losses small and keep your winners, let them run, right? And these are growth stories. These are stocks that will move, right? So, there is no reason to have a stock go from $20 to $10 and hoping that it comes back to 20. Now, I have a question for you. If a stock goes down from $20 to $10, how much percentage loss have you lost? 50%, right? Now, that stock is at $10. What kind of percentage move do you need to get back to 20? Most people would say 50%. And that is wrong. You need a 100% move out of that $10 stock to get back to break even. How do you like your chances? So I don't hold on to losers. I just don't. I cut them early. A lot of these things don't work sometimes. And this particular stock here, the good thing about it is, when we go back to a daily, Go back to a daily. You got support level here that you can use as a sell signal. Again, a close below it. Like this. This closed below, right? Close below it could trigger a sell signal, right? But because you have this trend line and then the 50-day and then the 200-day, there's other areas here where you could sell. And what I see a lot of professional traders do, let's just say they took a 200 share position in this stock. Let's just say they took a 200 share position tomorrow, right? The way that they would play this usually, that I've seen it played, is, I can use a close below this as a sell signal, maybe sell 100 shares, not all of it, right? Because I still got this that can help me out, and this and this. But everybody's different. Everybody's financial situation is different. Some people can afford to move from here to here, okay? I don't like to take more than an 8% loss in any stock, but that's just me. But you have to pick a place where to get out. You just can't hold these things if they turn and they just roll over, right? You can't hold it. You can't hold the stock way down here. You just can't. It's a best guess, best probability scenario, but sometimes it just doesn't work. You will have losers. No mistake about it. You will have losers. The difference is, in successful trading, is that you keep your losses small, and then you let your winners run. And most people do exactly the opposite. They keep their losers. They buy losers at the bottom in hopes of a move up to the upside. Well, losers can become bigger losers. And I just gave you the reason why. I mean, holding a stock from 20 to 10, then hoping to get back to 20. You need a 100% move. Makes no sense to me. Best is to cut your losses short. Look for a new opportunity, a new setup. Because this setup right here, the cup and handle, historically, it has been a very explosive. It has a tendency to be a very explosive pattern. Bullish pattern. Does it work all the time? No. So, knowing that going in, you know what your maximum loss is. If you cross here and you sell a little bit, cross here, you sell a little bit. You take the emotion. What we're doing here is taking all the emotion out of playing. You already know what the outcome is. There is no sitting down here at the bottom and going, well, I like the macroeconomics of this company and the sector. No. Noise. That is noise. I've spoken to you before about noise. You need to keep that noise in check. It'll get you in trouble every single time. It's got to mean trouble every single time. The minute that you start letting the CNBC show, the Bloomberg TV show, the Fox Business show get in your head. Oh, the Fed chairman is going to say noise. You cannot control the noise, but you certainly can control this. So, if you get involved in a stock like this, these stocks are meant to be traded, because if there's a fail, everybody's different, but you should really be thinking, I need to get out of this thing. And for everybody, it is different. Maybe for somebody, they only want to take a loss this little right here. Maybe somebody can afford a loss up to here. And, when a stock starts to turn over to the downside, we got to talk about this. Because this is being ready, right? There's no surprises. I've talked to you about the psychology of trading. It's a very psychological business where you get down here to these levels, and if you didn't have these things in place, you're going willy-nilly. Like, you know what? Yeah, I feel like, and I hope that you got to get rid of that. There is no hoping. There is no feeling. You're not smart enough. The market is smarter. And that's okay. But where the difference is that you're ready for a downturn. Now, I would encourage you to look at stocks that have had explosive days where you see volume like this, all right, and you see the stock go up out of these patterns, the cup and handle patterns or something similar. Now, when I zoom out of this chart, we just covered the downside. That's the most important side, right? You gotta keep your losses. I have to keep my losses short. I don't ride stocks down 15, 20%. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's emotional. It's reckless. It's hoping. It's your mind getting in the way. And all of this goes away. It's just like it was worth nothing. Keeping in mind that every stock you choose is not going to go up. You will have losers. You will have losers. But we don't let losers turn into tragedies to where you're sitting there now hoping and praying that this thing will come back up. We don't hope and pray here. We just don't. We execute. Right? I don't hope and pray. I execute. Execute your strategy. So let's talk about the upside. What is the upside potential on the stock? Because, the other thing is, I'll tell you a story. I met this kid on the street, and it's like God put him in front of me. It's just amazing. I met him out there, and he says, forget what it was exactly, but he tells me, hey, man, this Bitcoin stuff, it's amazing. I said, really? Tell me more, right? Humble myself. Well, you can put $100 in right now in Bitcoin, man. This thing is gonna run, to like $500 in like 2 weeks. I was like, wow, okay. I said, yeah, I know Bitcoin well. I said, but let me ask you a question. Just an honest question. Let's just say you're wrong. I said, what? Yeah, let's just say you're wrong. Hear me out, though. Let's just say that Bitcoin doesn't go up to 500. Let's say it goes up to 2,000. What do you do? Beep, 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 beep. Crickets. And that, folks, right there is why we do this. You got to be ready for the downside, and you got to be ready for the upside. Stocks, Bitcoin, gold, commodities, cattle, heifers, whatever the heck you want to talk about, they don't go straight up forever. They don't. So you have to trade these things. You have to trade these things. They're meant to be traded. That's why there's a buy button, right? And there's a sell button. So let's look at that upside, right? Got a nice little trend line here that I drew from this high on January 22nd. Coincides a little bit with this action here on February 14th, right? Just strike that. Then the old high, right here on February 13th, strike that, right? So now we got areas where we can start thinking sell. Sell something. Lock something in. Because this is resistance right here. The stock is going to see resistance here. All right? Now, it might blow right past this. But you know what? Bulls make money. Bears make money. Pigs get slaughtered. So when this thing gets up here, here's a stock, right? 53 to 58. That's a $5 run. I would think about taking some off the table here. Taking that 200 share example, maybe I sell half. And put a sell stop and let this thing run and just trail the stop. Right? I mean, there's no reason to sell a stock completely if the trend is upwards, but you got to lock in some gains. Right? And then after that, as we zoom out, it's like, hello. And that's when you really start having fun. Now, this thing can go like this and trade right here and just inch up that way. It doesn't really matter how it does it. And you got to pay attention to volume. What's a volume pattern like? Is it going up with higher volume, going down with higher volume? I spoke to you about how meaningful volume is. Is the big players getting involved or not getting involved? Big players selling or not selling. Big players buying or not buying. So we have to pay attention to that as well. What I have found successful is you have to trade these things. And I sell a sell stop. I put a sell stop in trailing the price just in case it comes down. I'm already playing with house money, taking that. I sold here 100 shares. I already locked in some gains. And now I'm feeling happy because I can put a nice tight stop right below that price. If I get stopped out on the last 100, big deal. Still made money, right? But I might not. Because another mistake people make is, it gets over here like, oh, I'll sell the rest of it. Well, why? Let the stock run. Let your leaders, let your winners run. Especially off a pattern like this. So I just wanted to show you that, the kind of things that I look at. We'll look at some more going forward. But the thing is that you have a strategy on the downside. You have a strategy on the upside. It's not like you're just buying stock and like hoping and praying. There's a plan, right? Hence the name of the channel, Stock Market Plan. You got to plan these things. You just can't go out there and buy stock and just because you think or you feel, that ammunition is running low, so I better buy Ruger or whatever the heck else. That plays nothing. The market does not care about your opinion at all, or mine. What we do is we strategize. What I do is strategize and go from there. Things that I can control. I cannot control a virus, right? Cannot control this. But by golly, look at here. Look at here. I closed below the 50-day. That was a sell signal, guys. Hello? Why do I want to hold a stock from $52 all the way down to freaking $37? Are you kidding me right now? I mean, even if you sold half of your position here, you had another chance to sell here, and you still would have saved this much money. Does that make any sense? Right? But to hold this thing all the way down, these things are meant to be traded. You got to trade these things. But I would have definitely been out of here. And definitely when you get up here and then it fails again, yeah, that would have been my second sell signal. And I don't care if the stock comes back up. That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of the probability. I'm thinking of, let's look at the volume on those days. Look at the volume. High volume drop. Close below the 50-day moving average. Sell signal. We come back up. Boom. Volume increasing. Sell signal. Volume. Hello. There's the 200. I just showed you that. Look at the volume. Look at the volume compared to the rest of the time. It's like these are the things you got to look at. Keep your losses small. Let your winners run. Hopefully that makes some sense. And we'll look at more of these things going forward. The more you look at them, the more familiar they become. Again, this is not a recommendation to buy this stock. I just want to show you the kind of things that I look at. You have to make your own decision. I don't know if you buy here, if a sell here is all right for you, or if a sell here, if you can muster this thing to come all the way down here, or here, or here. I mean, I would definitely be out of here. I mean, look, the 50 and the 200 together, good gravy. I'm gone. I close below this. See ya. Live to fight another day. But I mean, some of you might be a little tighter. And you might be like, you know what? If I get down below my pivot right here, I'm selling some. Or all. Whatever. And definitely over here, maybe I sell. It's different for everyone. Different for everyone. Knowing and understanding that not every trade is going to be a winner. I'll be looking at this stock tomorrow. See what it does. Now, this thing can trade below this tomorrow. In the middle of the day. Up and under, up and under, up and under, up and under. All day. What I'm looking for is a close always looking at the close, right? So hopefully this stuff is making sense. I wanted to show you how I look at these things, and you know, here's I mean, the cup and handle pattern has shown to be a very, very powerful pattern, and just wanted to show you that there's a cup, there's a handle, right? There's my pivot point, which was actually off of this level right here before we had this action 2 days ago, the 28th. This is my pivot. I struck that line and I said, there's my handle. I close above this, good to go. Well, we stayed above it, right? Today. So, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I post these things all the time. I'm going to be posting more of these charts, letting you look at them, giving you something to think about, what things to look for. And also helps me on the channel, okay? Keep this thing going here. Get on Facebook, Stock Market Plan, 3 words. Follow it. I'll throw some things out there too sometimes, all right? I really appreciate you being out here learning together. Learning every day, every single day, a different way. Free of noise, free of noise, free of noise. Just data. Data-driven trading, which is really what what I like to pay. Which is really the only thing. I mean, I've been doing this for many years, and I tell you, anytime I get caught up in the noise, you know, the stock starts trading down here, and I see something stupid in the news. Some talking head gets in the news, maybe even about this stock, and starts saying this, and that. And I hang on, and I hang on, and I hang on, and I hang on, and all of a sudden I'm down 20%. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. You got to trade these things. Come up with your strategy, whatever it might be, and trade them. Anyways, guys, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get these updates. And, you know, market looks good, so we're going to ride it. Looks good. Nothing about, you know, this chart looks like a sell. Again, the spider, nothing about this chart looks like a sell. Confirmed uptrend. Getting into resistance now in the thick of it. Trying to break through here. Look at all this space right here. I mean, this thing can, it's unreal. I mean, I spoke about this market probably doing this wedge up. I saw a headline this morning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average had its best month in 45 years. There's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? From here to here, here's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? From the low of March 23rd to where we're at right now. That whole movement right there, the best it has seen in 45 years. Let that sink in a little bit. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember, subscribe, share, okay? Make sure you comment on the videos. If you have any questions, we'll try to address them. You know, go ahead and comment on the videos, what you think, what you see. If you have any stocks out there that you're watching that you like, put them up there. Let's talk about them. All right? We'll catch you on the next one.